All right, my people, we have a breaking news, and this one just took the whole situation to another level. Now, El-Rufai is no longer just talking about an airport incident. He is directly accusing the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, of being behind the moves to arrest him. That is not a small accusation. That is a heavy political statement. Before we go into the full details, please make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any of our premium updates here on the channel. Also, please stay with me till the end of this video, because we'll be exposing a lot of hidden secrets that most mainstream media won't put in public. Now back to the news. According to him, after the drama at the Abuja airport, he spoke with Atiku Abubakar, who came to visit him at home. During that conversation, he claimed that it was not EFCC that moved against him like many people first assumed. He said it was actually ICPC working together with DSS. And then he went further. He said the ICPC chairman was acting on the direct order of Nuhu Ribadu. That is serious, because now this is no longer just about security agents approaching a former governor at the airport. Now this is a direct power accusation inside the highest level of Nigeria's security structure. Think about what this means politically. You have a former governor, a major political figure, openly saying that the National Security Advisor of the country is behind attempts to arrest him. That is not ordinary talk. That is the kind of statement that shakes political space because it introduces motive, not just action. Before now, the story was about procedure. Was there a warrant? Was there an invitation? Was due process followed? But now the story has shifted. Now it is about intention. El-Rufai is basically saying this was not just law enforcement doing their job. He is suggesting this was coordinated, planned, directed from the top. That is the implication of mentioning Ribadu by name. And once a name like that enters the conversation, the tension automatically rises. Because Ribadu is not just any official, he is the National Security Advisor. A man deeply involved in national security decisions, intelligence coordination, and high-level state matters. So for a former governor to link him directly to an attempted arrest is politically explosive. El-Rufai also said something else that people are paying close attention to. He claimed ICPC had never invited him before. That is important, because in Nigeria, the normal process is usually invitation first, questioning, then further legal steps if necessary. When someone says an agency that never invited him suddenly moved to arrest him at the airport, people begin to question the process again, and then he used a very strong word. He described what happened as an attempt to abduct him and hand him over. That word alone shows how serious he sees the situation. Now let's look at the political atmosphere around this moment. Atiku Abubakar visiting him immediately after the incident is not just a friendly visit. In politics, timing is never random. When a former vice president visits a former governor right after a dramatic confrontation with security agencies, it sends a message, a strong one. It signals alignment, it signals concern, it signals political awareness. And Atiku did not stop at sympathy. He used that moment to talk about opposition unity and the 2027 election. He said opposition forces must come together because he believes Tinubu is determined to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. That statement changes the entire context of this story, because now the airport incident is no longer standing alone. It is now entering the larger conversation about power, opposition politics, and the future of Nigeria's political landscape. Let's be honest here. Nigeria is already entering early political tension mode ahead of 2027. Alliances are forming quietly, criticisms are becoming louder, political camps are watching each other closely. So when a high-profile figure like El-Rufai faces an attempted arrest and then openly links it to top security leadership, it will naturally be seen through a political lens, whether authorities like it or not. Some people will say this is simply accountability catching up with a powerful politician. They will argue that no one should hide behind political status to avoid investigation. That argument will come strongly from those who believe anti-corruption agencies must be allowed to operate without fear, but others will see a different picture. They will see a pattern. First, criticisms of government, then reports of associates being detained, then an airport confrontation. Now, accusations of coordinated arrest moves. To them, it may look less like coincidence and more like political pressure. And this is where perception becomes very powerful in Nigeria. Because Nigerians do not just look at events, they look at patterns, they compare with past political history, they ask whether similar actions happen equally across all political camps or only around certain figures. Another important angle here is the institutional confusion. First, there were talks about EFCC. Now, El-Rufai is saying it was ICPC working with DSS. That difference matters a lot. EFCC, ICPC, DSS, these are different agencies with different mandates. When multiple agencies appear in one operation, people start asking who is truly in charge. Was this a corruption investigation, a security matter, a coordinated intelligence operation, or something else entirely? Clarity matters in situations like these because when agencies operate in ways that look unclear to the public, trust begins to shake. Nigerians start wondering whether the system is acting based on law or based on internal directives. And then comes the biggest political weight in this story, the accusation against Ribadu. This is not a small political rivalry between local actors. This is a direct allegation involving someone at the core of national security. If left unanswered, it will grow. If denied, it will still remain a major political talking point. If escalated, it could turn into a full political confrontation. Silence from the accused side will also be noticed. Because when a public figure makes a direct allegation at that level, people expect a response. Not just for political defense, but for institutional credibility. If security leadership is accused of ordering actions against a political figure, the public will want transparency. Another layer that cannot be ignored is El-Rufai's political weight. This is not an inactive retired politician. This is someone who still has influence, still has a voice, and still has a strong presence in national political discussions. When someone like that says he is being targeted, it immediately becomes a national debate, not just legal matter. And now opposition politics has entered the scene openly through Atiku's statement, talking about forming a strong opposition and warning about a one-party state in the same breath as a security confrontation creates a political narrative that many supporters will quickly adopt. Whether accurate or not, narratives spread fast when they connect to existing political fears. For ordinary Nigerians watching all this, the concern is deeper. They are not just asking who is right or wrong, they are asking whether institutions are becoming tools in political battles. They are asking whether political disagreements are turning into security confrontations. Because if that perception grows, it affects national trust. At the same time, it is also possible that there are genuine investigations ongoing that the public does not yet fully understand. That possibility cannot be ignored. But in a democracy, process and transparency are what prevents situations from turning into political storms. Right now, the situation is moving from a security incident into a full political narrative battle. El-Rufai is speaking. Atiku is aligning publicly. Serious accusations are on the table. And the country is watching closely. This is no longer just about an airport encounter. This is about power tension at the top level of Nigeria's political and security structure. And depending on how the government, the security agencies, and the accused officials respond, this story could either calm down or expand into something much bigger ahead of the 2027 political season. Because once accusations of political targeting enter public space at this level, they do not disappear quickly, they grow, they divide opinions, they shape political alliances. And right now, it feels like this situation is only just beginning to unfold.
Excellency, my brother, you are welcome. And I hope, in spite of what has happened at the airport, you will have, or you will join members of your family to have, a very peaceful reunion. But let me also use this opportunity to strongly condemn what has happened today at the airport. There is absolutely no reason for authorities to try and embarrass you at the airport. Not only you, embarrass all Nigerians, because this is a democratic society. This is a society based on rule of law. There was absolutely no need for you to be or try to be kidnapped, I will say, from the airport. I mean, they could allow you to return to your house and then invite you normally. You have held very, very high positions in government in this country. You are a minister, you are a governor, and you successfully perform your functions. There was no need for them to try to embarrass you. By embarrassing you, they are entirely embarrassing the entire political class. And we condemn it. And we condemn it in totality. And we will stand by you, and we will protect, your interests and the interests of every law-abiding Nigerian, particularly the ADC. Just as they undermine and sabotage the PDP, there are also efforts and plans to undermine the ADC by using the judiciary again. We must be alert, and we must stand up against that plans to undermine the opposition. This is a very, very credible information. So we should all be at alert and make sure that the judiciary is not used to undermine the ADC, just as it has been used to undermine, to destroy the PDP. We must all unite and stand up, to all these anti-democratic forces. I thank you very much indeed.
In such a great and public way, coming to my house for the second time in less than 6 months to commiserate with me over certain incidents. The latest one being the fracas at the airport today. Your Excellency, you have always shown concern for my personal welfare and that of our friends and associates. And this visit further reinforces that concern that you've consistently shown, for which I will be eternally grateful. Your Excellency, what happened at the airport today, as you correctly observed, was most unfortunate, totally unnecessary, and probably criminal as well, because agencies have rules of engagement, and all I asked for, give me a letter of invitation, and I will visit your office. But it turned out that it was the ICPC that procured the DSS to abduct me and hand me over to them. The ICPC has never contacted me or sought to invite me up to the point we were at the airport. The EFCC had written inviting me, and I was out of the country. My lawyer wrote to them to say that I will be returning and I will be there on Monday at 10 a.m. But the ICPC never had anything from them. But we understand that it was the ICPC, not the EFCC, that was responsible for what happened. And the ICPC chairman was acting on the direct orders of Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor. We have reduced security agencies to be arms of a political party and a government that knows it is unelectable and wants to remain in power at all costs. And Your Excellency, I assure you that what has happened today has further reinforced my belief that we must work hard, we must not sleep between now and March 2027 until we remove these tyrants from power.